This 1972 Harley-Davidson Sprint 350 SS is the third restoration that I've done. I've previously done a 1967 250cc and a 1970 Sprint SS 350cc. The goal of my restorations are to bring back each motorcycle to a rideable condition. The motorcycle will have the look and feel of a bike that I may have owned and ridden back in that time period, but my intent is not a perfect restoration. I'm not afraid to show the patina and the effective time a cycle that is over 50 years old has. But yet the motorcycle can still be ridden and evoke fond memories for the people that view these long-forgotten bikes. Early on in the restoration, you must make an assessment of the general condition of the motorcycle. In my case, the motor was seized, the clutch was inoperable and seized. There was a lot of rust and oxidation on the chrome and aluminum that had to be dealt with. Brakes needed work, electrical wiring had some problems. Several parts were missing, so I had to inventory all the parts and make a list of what I needed to purchase. And the color was orange, but the 1972 Sprint never came in orange and obviously had to be restored back to its original color because it did need a paint job. A quick cleaning and power wash always helps before the restoration begins. An engine needs three things to run: compression, spark, and fuel. Let's start with compression. Obviously, with a seized engine, there's no checking for compression. This is a step that's going to take a little bit of time and patience. I used penetrating oil and automatic transmission fluid over several days, dropping a few of each down the cylinder, and then trying to hand crank the engine just to see if I could get some movement out of that piston. I did this over several days, and every engine's going to be different. Take your time, patience will pay off, as in this case, mine went a couple of weeks, and I got a little tiny movement each day and eventually got a full rotation, and in a few weeks I was kicking over the engine with no problem. Had plenty of compression also. Let's move on to spark. Here's a few ways you can determine whether or not your motorcycle has spark. I like this method because it's fast and you're only checking to see if you have spark. Make sure your points are nice and clean. You may have to file them or use some emery cloth to make sure that they have good contact, and make sure that they're completely closed. Install a fully charged battery with a solid ground. Remove your spark plug from the cylinder and reconnect it to the plug wire and ground it to your cylinder on the outside. Now open and close the points by physically grabbing the points with your hand and opening and closing the points. You may get some spark at the points, but that's normal. But then you should be also checking at the end of your spark plug to see if you have spark. No spark? You've got some more investigating to do. If you've got spark, let's move on to the advanced unit. Start by removing the top and bottom point plates, screws, and then you may also remove the nut in the center on the cam. With the points plate removed, your advanced unit is exposed. Mark the unit somehow, as without a mark on it, you have a 50-50 chance of installing it 180 degrees out of time. Clean and reinstall the advanced unit, making sure that all the parts move freely and are well lubricated. With the point plate installed, rotate it to the middle of the adjustment and look for a small punch mark at about the 5 o'clock position on the point plate itself. Also look for a factory scribed line on the inside of the housing and line up the two marks. Adjust your point gap to 18 thousandths and tighten the plate. With luck, you should be close enough on the timing for now.
Time to move on to the fuel portion of the restoration. Make sure your fuel tank is clean and it doesn't have any rust or debris. Hopefully it's not rusted through, and you can reuse the old fuel tank. Remove all your fuel lines and put on new fuel lines. Check the petcock, make sure that that has fuel flowing through it. Also remove your carburetor, clean it. There are some excellent videos on YouTube for cleaning that specific carburetor, so check that out. And once you've done those things, it's ready to maybe start. Having owned 3 Sprints, I've learned a few things about getting them started. Keep your ignition key off. Kick the bike over slowly with your choke or enricher circuit pulled up to give it a good prime. I usually kick it over 3 to 4 times. Turn the enricher or choke off, turn your key on, and kick it over again with no throttle. I only give it throttle when it actually starts. If you happen to flood the engine, try starting it with the throttle wide open. If the bike starts but only runs a few seconds, check your exhaust pipes and manifold. Remember, these were barn finds, and for a long time, these may have been home for a lot of the little critters to be packing away some seeds and nuts. Nothing, and I mean nothing, puts a bigger smile on a collector's face than when the engine is running really well. When I purchased this bike, I was told that it was a barn find. Obviously, it was sitting somewhere for many years with no regard to moisture and the rust that it was causing. And looking over the bike, and I just felt that I wasn't building a rat bike, and I wanted to make it look a lot better. So I made the decision to start doing the body work on it and getting the rust off and bringing it back to its original color, which my research showed was yellow. Interestingly enough, there is a paint out there called John Deere Yellow, which is, as near as I can tell, almost a perfect match to the original yellow. Original and reproduction tank decals are readily available on eBay.